One small island is under threat, mainly caused by feral animals such as cats and rabbits. They are destroying this beautiful grassy speck between Australia and Antarctica. A $2.5 million eradication program has begun. Now we have Jeremy Plummer on the line, live from Macquarie Island.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. So what is your job on the island?
Well, I'm a zoologist on the island, and my job is to study the fauna. Wow, a group of penguins has just waddled past. They are flightless black and white birds. Hang on. I'm supposed to study these. I just got one of the animals to complete further studies. Then we release them. I've got to go.
Well, wasn't that interesting? Now, on to the eradication program, which is now in full swing. We have done some research and found that placing the pellets may cause some birds to die. Douglas Mawson is with us now. Is it worth it?
Yes, it is, because 55% more rabbits and cats are dying.
One more question, Douglas. How's the weather been disrupting the program and your travels?
The weather has been atrocious. It has made it very hard to continue the program.
Thank you for your time, Douglas. It is currently 20 degrees in Sydney. Good night.
Hello and welcome to Macquarie Island Radio.
In the middle of the Southern Ocean lies a windswept island on the verge of extinction. This is Macquarie Island. We're now cross live to Tom on Macquarie Island.
Sealers have lived here on Macquarie Island for over 100 years, hunting penguins, fur seals and elephant seals. We will now interview William Sutton, a former sealer who is now in charge of the dogs who hunt and kill for rabbits.
Yes, I may have once been a sealer, but I have changed my ways and decided to join Douglas Mawson on his quest to save Macquarie Island.
William, how many rabbits have been killed since the dogs began their work?
The rabbit population has reduced by 10% since the dogs began.
Have you begun to hunt any other introduced animals?
We have not, but we are planning to begin hunting the rats.
Thank you, William, for your time today. The information you gave us was very useful. We will now cross live to Rachel for our Macquarie Island weather report.
This week will be a cold one. We have winds rising up from Antarctica. This will cause this week to be freezing. We will have temperature going down to the lowest of minus 13 degrees. Stay inside and keep those jackets on.
We will now interview Douglas Mawson. Wait, we have just got news that Douglas Mawson is too busy with the eradication program, so instead we have managed to get Mawson's first mate, Nick Jackson. Nick, are there any other ways that you can catch the rabbits and feral animals?
We've been doing well to get rid of the rats, mice, cats and workers and rabbits. Not only do we use the dogs to kill the rabbits, but we also hand-bait rats, rabbits, workers and mice, and we cage the wild cats.
Have you seen any major changes since you were here 20 years ago?
Yes, the flora and fauna are growing back and less rabbits, mice, rats and workers are being seen, but we're a long way from success.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you everyone who is listening to Macquarie Island Radio.
In the cyan, pristine ocean of the Pacific lies a tiny speck, Macquarie Island. It has been many years since Macquarie Island has been found and is now in terrible state, and the rabbit eradication program is now working to eliminate all rodents and rabbits from the island. Now we will interview Sir Douglas Mawson, who is currently on the island. My crew and I have been on Macquarie Island for approximately 3 weeks. Was the journey to the island rough? The journey was actually calmer than we expected, but near the middle of the journey, a violent storm struck, resulting in some supplies falling into the ocean. How has it been since you arrived?
It was a bit tough, especially last week when there was a powerful wind blowing one of our huts down.
How do you think the island has changed since you last travelled to Macquarie Island?
I think having brought the rabbits to the island was a huge mistake. Rabbits have dominated the island and vegetation has been decreased enormously. We need to get this island to how it used to be.
Are there any specific plants or animals that you are concerned about?
Yes, the elephant seals. Sealers have been hunting them for their blubber to burn for warmth, and now the blubber that the sealers have placed on their huts are now rotten and letting out a stinking smell. There are also not many bulls, but the cows are very numerous.
Thank you very much for that interview. Now we will hear from Sir Campbell, who is currently in Mawson's hut. So, Sir Campbell, how has the weather been?
It's been very cold, and as you can see, I've caught a mere frostbite on my fingers. Also, it's quite rainy right now.
How do you feel about living there for 2 years?
Well, the rabbits remind me of my pet rabbit, and seeing the mice swipe the birds' eggs also reminds me of eating sunny side up.
What changes have you seen since you arrived?
Rabbits are very numerous and breeding very fast along the shores. Many seals have been killed lately.
Thank you, Sir Campbell. And that's all we have time for tonight.
Macquarie Island is a speck of lush green environment in the windswept ocean. In 1816, sealers arrived on the island to hunt innocent, frightened and beautiful fur seals on the precious, perfect and picturesque landscape. The island was once beautiful, but now has become an inhospitable place for significant native animals. Now, we will interview Sir Douglas Mawson, who is head of the team whom is trying to save Macquarie Island. The island is relying on him. Welcome, Douglas, to ABC Radio. Now, tell us what project you are working on to save Macquarie Island.
The island has been devastated. The innocent island has done nothing, but it is still suffering. The weather is atrocious, as it is always raining cats and dogs. The project is all about killing the feral animals of Macquarie Island. We are planning to hunt the feral animals down and then fumigate their homes. If we don't do anything, Macquarie Island will be called Rabbit Island instead.
And how long is this project going to take?
Well, this project is going to take around 5 years. It is very expensive, so it better be worth it.
Thank you, Douglas, for letting me interview you.
My pleasure.
We hope the project goes successfully.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. See you next time on ABC Radio.
Macquarie Island, the heavenly speck of peaceful green in the massive, pristine ocean, is the home to many harmless fauna. Hi, I'm Lucy Doyle, and Macquarie Island is now in human hands. Professor Snigglesnack is studying the wonderful wildlife that live or once lived on Macquarie Island. Let's see what he has to say now. Hello, Professor. How's the weather down on Macquarie Island?
It's a freezer down here. The sky is as grey
As an elephant?
Precisely. Maybe a little lighter. The clouds are crying hard too.
Can you give us a little information about the island?
Well, of course. From 1820, many hard sailors ventured to the island and literally destroyed it over time. Now humans are taking it into their own hands and trying to fix the mess that has been made.
Have they made much progress on the island?
Well, there are numerous amounts of terrorizing rabbits, and the estimate of elephant seals are a mere 5,000 on the beaches. The rabbits have destroyed the island even more than the sealers, and I have dug man-sized burrows, so I guess we are very aware of their presence.
Are any programs happening at the moment, and are any animals being released onto the island?
Well, the status quo is that we are trying to fix the mess. No animals are being released at the moment. We have decided to drop poison pellets down on the island. Hopefully that will kill all the rabbits, because if not, then we will fail the job. What I'm most worried about is that many of the island's animals will die in the process, but the island won't have as many faults.
Do you think Macquarie Island can be fixed so that it will be exactly the same as before?
Well, to be honest, I really don't entirely think that we'll be able to fix it so that it will be exactly the same, but we can change it a bit.
Over the years you've spent on Macquarie Island, have you learnt much?
Yes, I have. I've learned about how climate change and the animals' behaviours. I've learned heaps.
What is your favourite animal on Macquarie Island?
My absolute favourite would certainly have to be the elephant seal. Oh, here comes one right now.
Can you share one of your wonderful experiences?
I remember once I was on the beach and my comrades and I ran to a bulky group of scary, large and angry elephant seals. Bulls. It definitely was the most scariest but fresh experience of my life. I even thought I saw the big bull actually smiling to his pup.
Thank you, Professor Snigglesnack, for joining us tonight. Now it's time for the 1 hour commercial-free lockout. Goodbye and good night.
Sashi and Josh. We need to get back to school now. I agree. Whoa!
On a small icy island, a cabin stands alone. It stands watching the horizon. Welcome to ABC Radio. We cross over to our reporter, Leon George.
Welcome to Expert Cook.
Thank you.
So what have you been doing on the island?
Well, I've been cooking for Douglas Mawson for about 3 months now, using the wild cabbage as a natural remedy for scurvy, and cats, wekas and rabbits for the luscious meat.
How do you feel living as well as cooking there?
It's been a different but wonderful experience, and sometimes quite difficult due to the horrid weather.
So what kind of dishes have you cooked to benefit the crew?
Well, I've cooked a lot of things that have benefited them, but my most successful is the wild cabbage and weka, which is a remedy for scurvy and for protein.
What do you think of Macquarie Island?
I think it's beautiful with all the different and wonderful natural flora and fauna. Watching the penguins swimming towards the horizon, listening to the seals, singing to the angels, it's just astonishing.
Well, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. I'm off to do some cooking. Bye.